Good morning. It's 21st of October and I'm standing on the top of the world. No, I'm standing on a bench to start our October allotment tour. There's still plenty to see and it's more colorful than I thought it would be. So the polytunnel behind me, just here, is empty and I've been removing some soil from that onto the strawberry bed, but these are still the bean bed, and it has been attacked by rodent, and I don't think we're going to have much of a crop, but I will check later on. But as long as they're having something to eat here, they're probably not eating something else. So that's what is there. There is some kales growing in the bed. There's some purple kale and there is some curly green kale and a couple of Swedes, I believe. We still have some nasturtium past that kale and the bed to be sorted out. Some of the weeds are slowly dying off. And we've got bed with some Brussels sprouts. I perhaps give you a quick overview how green that still is and how much water we managed to collect over the last couple of days. It's been very strong sort of rain, downpour really, at night. Okay, so let me just show you that. So in this bed we still have flowering parsley, and I will be removing that at some point, but there's still bits of it that haven't flowered and I harvest. And there is a couple of, I think, Swedes growing in here. So we see how we go with that bed. In this bed, we've got Brussels sprouts just starting. I managed to cut some of the leaves off. Can you see? They're just forming. These are the purple ones. And I've got 3 plants. It's not the ideal bed for them. You can see whatever is sticking through the thing, the pigeon had a really lovely go at that. There is some celeriac. And that's it really. Verbena bonariensis is looking spectacular. We've got some what do we call? We've got some I think these are Romanesco, but I really can't see them yet forming, are they? I can't see anything in the middle, so we might have to wait for it a little bit longer. And I have planted few spare purple sprouting broccoli amongst them. I don't know if you can see 3 filled in the gaps. They kind of unstake, so they're lying down, but we'll see how that works. So these are the purple sprouting early Rudolph and early purple. That's been planted a week ago, and they seem to shut up during that period of time, so they must like that. This is Nero di Toscana, looking good. Lots of little weeds. I might have to address that. Not necessarily today, but I will. I can see that one of them is not what it seemed. Nonetheless, we persevere. I think maybe 2 of them are not what they seem. That one at the end doesn't look, but it was all in a Nero di Toscana seeds. Sorry. And here we've got the cauliflowers. So that is looking good, and it's not even very many weeds. They've been here for about 3 weeks. But they're doing good. The flower bed, Cosmos, is just started to go on, frankly. There wasn't much of it in the summer. But still looking lush. And yes, we need to remove some of the grasses from the soft fruit bed. They're mainly currants and gooseberries here. the gooseberries, which sort of laid themselves down and rooted, and I then potted on, doing fantastically well, so I will be able to plant them elsewhere. Now, the bane of our life, I think, if somebody asked me what was the worst about this year, is the bindweed. We will have a war on bindweed. I think in November we will lay everything with plastic anywhere that the bindweed can come out, and just keep it for a while. So this is the bed which I'm going to be sorting out, finishing off today and maybe tomorrow. So these little alpine strawberries are going to be planted elsewhere. I very lazily just plonked some soil over the runners here, and these 3 rows here are going to be Cambridge favourites, Cambridge favourite variety. And then I brought some runners which I bought from Marshall, and then we're going to chat about it maybe next week. Still quite a lot to be done here, but it was laid with, so it's only raspberries which needs to be cut out and maybe or dug out, and we see where we are with that. Again, this is probably November's jobs. Let me quickly go past the new poly and just end up here on the side. The plants are that we will be layering all this bit here with the plastic for next year pumpkins. Horse doesn't use that bit anyway, because he's very delicate. He doesn't like anything that is not fresh, beautiful grass. He's very, very spoiled. Yes, he's a retired gentleman of 30, and he is incredibly spoiled. So he doesn't even like hay. Okay, so what we've got here, I planted outside the perpetual cabbage, and I may have to cover them with something, because I think there might be a pigeon damage. And I've planted the extra kohlrabi in the pumpkin pots as a bit of an experiment. So let's see if that works or not, because again in November, once everything dies down, we will be tidying that up, making sure everything overlaps, so we don't have the bindweed the way we had this year. I really absolutely hate it. I know it's a strong word, but I do. Now, as we walk down here, we had the flower bed, which was lovely this year, and past that flower bed, which gave us lots of joy, I'm gonna actually put the alpine strawberries just here at the edge of the poly. You can see that both yacon and that needs to be removed now, so we have the space to put the new flower bed, which is a good news, because that's what I was waiting for. Again, quite lots of cosmos still. I normally just cut everything down and put a lovely lovely hat made of straw on top of that bed to make sure that everything is tacked up for winter. Some nice chard planted here at the base of the poly. These are the brassicas, and the 4 little brassicas I need to plant in a separate bed, the perpetual cabbage. But these are the brassicas I planted last week. They seem to love it. The flowers also seem to love it, although they will be going out to the other bed. It will be white, mainly predominantly white, the dahlia bed, and I am gonna pick some flowers, which we can take home. The rest of the dahlias, because this is all kind of approaching, everything is going to finish soon, first frosts. I might have to take up that salvia, which I grew from seed and I'm quite fond of, into the polytunnel as well. See, this is for the first time this cosmos is having buds, which is very annoying. Sorrel did well, I would say did too well. We will be removing 3/4 of it next year, and the asparagus beds, well, they've been fantastic this year. So what else is we've got some sunflowers which are just finishing. We've got some celeriac. They're not going to be massive, but they are harvestable. I'll leave it as long as we can. We still have some celery. We've been taking them, but still quite plenty of them. And we've got chard, and we've got beetroot, and we've got more of the asparagus, and I've got still, well, that is probably needs to come out at some point. We need to use up the cavallonera. It's been very, and Christmas parsnip. Also this bed here, that needs to be cleared up, and we had some berlotti bean inside here. I have no idea if we will have some or not. Christmas carrots, yeah, and more pots which can be reused with some soil in there, and so on and so forth. So just moving back, the trees and the blueberries I've planted in these are doing fine. Some of them had some new growth I've seen. This is the new growth on the blueberry. So, and you know, the trees, the mainly apple trees and pear trees. There's 2 pear trees and 5 apple trees. Well, this is no good because it's growing from the base, and you can see that it's been grafted here and it's growing below, so that's not going to work. And these 2 never started, these 2 little cherries, but generally everything else has remnants of the rhubarb. I might take some and tidy up that bed. Nigel is actually clearing some more wood somewhere. I can hear him. And the greenhouse is being cleaned by sort of winter standards, and is in the process of being again tied up. And so we clearing and tidying up the all the spare beekeeping equipment. The potato bed will be again just put in some horse manure and hay over winter, because we have loads of it and we just go with the whatever there is rather than massively buying in. We buy in these days far less compost than we used to. So that's about it. It's still looking green. It's looking a little bit wild, but you know, the cold weather will help. Certain things will die. And yes, plenty to keep us occupied throughout whole winter, just to tame everything. See, the nasturtium and zinnias just gave up the ghost, I think. So some of that greenery will be removed. So that's it from me. As I promised, it is fairly swift allotment tour. I'm just looking at the sweets I haven't showed you. Yes, we still have sweets to harvest and so on. Yeah, it's still plenty of stuff to be had, but it's just not summer anymore. We all know that. I know. I'm already started planning for next year, like probably most of the gardeners do. And yeah, thank you for sharing your time with us here at the allotment in the field. Thank you for all your comments and all the interaction. We really love that, and hopefully see you next week. Bye bye for now.